Hey there tech fans, Rick here again from the OREI team with an overview of the UHD-IPC230-K HDMI extension kit. This product was engineered to make it incredibly easy for you to share all of your HDMI media content with a second remote location up to 230 feet away over a single Cat6 or Cat7 LAN cable. The product fully supports 4K ultra-high definition media content and is both HDMI 2.0 as well as HDCP 2.2 compliant, which means it's going to work perfectly fine with all of your modern media gear. It even features the very latest in power over cable technology, which means a single power supply is all you'll need to operate the entire solution. Now, as part of this review, I'd like to start with a quick unboxing just to show you everything that's included with the kit, and then I'll take a closer look at both of the modules and explain the connections and indicators so you understand how to use them. I'll also point out some of the features that the product provides, and then I'll come back and do a quick demonstration to show you just how simple this product will be to use with your own equipment. So let's get started with the unboxing. When you first pop open the box, you'll find a transmitter module and a receiver module. You'll also find a single DC 5-volt 2-amp power supply. You can simply plug this into any standard wall outlet. The other end has a USB-C connection on it, which plugs into the transmitter and provides all the power you'll need for the entire solution. And that's because the receiver doesn't require a power supply, because the power it needs to operate, again, is sent over that same LAN connection. Finally, you'll find a full instruction manual also included that lists connection diagrams, specifications, and a lot of other really good information that you'll need to understand about the product in order to use it correctly. Now, if you stay tuned next, I'll take a closer look at both modules, I'll list the features and functions the product provides, and then I'll come back and do that demonstration. Inside the kit, you'll find a transmitter module and a receiver module, and both of these feature full metal enclosures which make them incredibly durable and really the perfect choice for both residential and commercial installations. Let's start with the transmitter. On either side of the cabinet, you'll find ventilation slots that are designed to let any heat that develops during operation escape and keep the electronics inside at a pretty comfortable temperature. On the one end of the module, you'll find a LAN port labeled Cat6. That's where one end of the Cat6 or Cat7 cable between the transmitter and the receiver plugs in. On the other end of the module, you'll find an HDMI port labeled HDMI in. This connects to whatever media device you'd like to share the content from with your remote location. Use a high-quality cable. And then on the side of the unit, you'll find one more connection labeled DC 5 volts, and that's where the power supply plugs in. Again, you can simply plug that into a standard wall outlet. The other end of that cable has a USB-C connection on it, which plugs in right there. Now, one advantage of having a USB-C port for power is that if some of your media devices have an open USB-A port, you can use a cable from that port with a USB-C connection on it to plug in there and eliminate the need for that power supply. The receiver is very similar. Again, ventilation slots on both sides. On the one end, another LAN port labeled Cat6. That's where the other end of the cable from the transmitter plugs in. And then finally, on the other end of that module is another HDMI port labeled HDMI out. And that's where you'll connect the monitor at the remote location, which you'd like to use for enjoying the content coming from the primary side. You'll notice there is no power connection on the remote receiver. And the reason for that is that this system uses a power over cable technology, which means all the power for the solution is sent over that same LAN cable between the two modules. So the minute you plug in the transmitter, all the power required for the receiver comes across that cable, which means you don't need a power supply at the remote location. And that greatly simplifies your wiring. And that's pretty much it for the pair of them. The OREI UHD-IPC230-K is compatible with a wide range of HDMI media devices that include media players like Apple TV, streaming devices, digital projectors, game consoles, and computer systems. The product's features include full support of 4K ultra-high definition media content. It provides a wide range of audio format support that includes PCM, DTS-HD, and LPCM. It is both HDMI 2.0 as well as HDCP 2.2 compliant. It offers 230 feet of extension between the primary and secondary locations and includes the very latest power over cable technology to greatly simplify your wiring. Now I'll show you just how easy it'll be to use this product with your own equipment. And for this demonstration, over here I've set up a small media player that's currently looping a video on this monitor, and that's the media content I'd like to share with my second location. Over here I've set up another monitor, and this represents my remote location. It's wherever I'd like to enjoy the content from that primary location. And these can be up to 230 feet apart. In front of me I have the transmitter here and the receiver here. Now the first connection I'll make is from the media device directly to the transmitter, and I'll do that by disconnecting the HDMI cable from the monitor and plugging this directly into the HDMI input port in the transmitter. And now I can connect the monitor up at my remote location. I have a second high-speed cable connected to the monitor, and I'll plug that into the HDMI output port on the receiver. And now we're ready for the network connection between them. Remember, that has to be a Cat6 or a Cat7 cable. I have a short Cat6 cable right here, and I'll plug that into the receiver and then into the transmitter. And that'll be the only connection I'll need between these two locations. Now we're ready for power. I've already plugged in the power supply. The other end of the cable from that power supply has a USB-C connection on it, which plugs directly into the transmitter. Now the minute I add power to the transmitter, a few things start to happen. It actually starts a power on self-test internally to check the electronics, checking the resolution of my input device. It's also sending power across that LAN cable to the remote receiver, so this can power up and go through its self-test. And then it starts a handshake between the two and starts to send video information over to the receiver. And there you go. So what you're viewing here is HDMI media content from the primary side that's been converted into a LAN signal across that Cat6, Cat7 cable, and then converted back into an HDMI stream that can be displayed on the monitor. And it really is just that easy to get it working. I hope you found this overview of the OREI UHD-IPC230-K HDMI extension kit helpful. It really does provide an incredibly simple solution that allows you to share all of your HDMI media content from one location with a second remote location up to 230 feet away over a single Cat6 or Cat7 LAN cable. The product fully supports 4K ultra-high definition media content and is both HDMI 2.0 as well as HDCP 2.2 compliant, which means it's going to work perfectly fine with all of your modern media gear. It also employs the very latest in power over cable technology, which means a single power supply is all you'll need to operate the entire solution. And the transmitter has a USB-C connection for power, so you can use an open port on any of your media equipment with your own USB-A to USB-C cable to power the unit and eliminate the power supply completely. Everything you need to get started is included with the kit, and with a few simple connections, you can be up and running in no time. So until next time, thanks again for watching.